Morning, everybody. It is Friday. Happy Friday. Hope everybody's week's going great so far. It's, I don't know, about 11 o'clock here. Just really getting going. As you can see, I am out on a walk again, enjoying a little bit of outdoor time. There is a big old doggy coming up on us. So come here, Zagon. Let's go ahead and move. But yeah, it's been an interesting week. You know, first full week at the job. Got a lot of things done. And, just really coming up to speed. We are hard at work at some of our other business projects as well. So that's keeping us somewhat busy, and we're working on the house. And really, that's it. Casey's working, I'm working, everybody's happy. Hope y'all are having a great week. As you can see, it is a beautiful day here. Sun is shining, people are out, grass is growing. And of course, my dog is being a pain in the butt. Have a great weekend. I don't know when I'll be back, so we'll be in touch when we can. Take care.
Okay, let me see here. 4-wheel drive, check. Jeep, check. Woo! Here we go, out of the ice. It is 12:05. So, on the 18th of June, and look at this. Can you guys see that temperature outside? Hopefully you can. 1 degree. 1 degree Fahrenheit. One of those days. Looks like the bar down here is still open, which is rather unusual. Yeah, man, they're still on and popping. I always like to see that. So it is a Columbus Day weekend. And for those of you who do not know, Columbus Day weekend is a gigantic ski weekend. So we are very much expecting to see lots of crowds as we drive along. So it is, like I said, 12:06 and I'm just leaving work. I got here at 10:30 a.m. this morning. So that would be a 14-hour workday almost. And tomorrow we do it again. So I've got to try to get home, 45-minute drive, get to sleep, get up, got to go to the grocery store in the morning, and then rinse and repeat. The good news is that the roads are not icy. The bad news is it looks like somebody lost their car right here. Do you see that? I don't know what in the world happened or why they left it in the middle of the street, but let's see here. Turn off the 2-wheel drive, or the 4-wheel drive, whatever the hell. Turn on the 2-wheel drive, turn off the 4-wheel drive. And let's see if we can make it. Okay, here's the thing that's interesting about this. And this always bewilders my mind, but everyone else thinks it's completely an average and normal. You see all the car lights behind me and everything? Hopefully you guys can. And there's a car in front of me. There is never, ever, ever anyone on this road. Maybe one car. And then when you hit a Friday night or a Saturday night, there's all of a sudden there's cars everywhere. And I do not understand why all these people appear out of nowhere. Like there's like 5 cars behind me. So it's not like, okay, there's 1 or 2 more cars, like normally we're at 0, and there's 3 in front of me. Normally I'm at absolute 0, and now I'm at like 15. Now, there's nothing of notoriety. It's not like, oh yeah, this is where the clubs are or something like that. Like, we're out in the middle of nowhere still. So what is it about a Friday night in the middle of nowhere that makes people want to come out and party it up? I would love to have an answer to that one. If anyone ever figures that out, that is one thing of, as me and Du would have said, like peonology that I do not understand. I wonder if this is the car that like lost his bumper and everything. It might be. Because he's flashing. He's got he's driving down the road with his flashers on. Only about half of the flashers work. And we're all trying to get around him. And he's going this direction, which is towards the middle of nowhere, away from town. So like if you're trying to get your car fixed, or your like tire was flat or something like that, like the other direction is the direction you need to be going. This way there is absolutely nothing for 25 minutes or so. So go figure. Oh, looks like he's turning off. Maybe he's trying to get home. There's a couple houses over here to the right, and the ski resort continues over here to the left. So if we had lights and night skiing, you'd be able to see the mountain right now. Well, we have none of these things, so you can see absolutely nothing. So, what was I doing today that had me so... we were making snow, and it is, like I said, 1 degree Fahrenheit outside, which led to some pretty problematic conditions, because what was happening is everything was freezing while they were trying to make the snow. Up there it's in the negatives, so we're at like -4 or something like that where I was at, and even more up top, so up to -7. So as they're trying to have the water go through it, it's freezing up. The guns everything's turning rock solid, like the hose will freeze up with all the water in it. So yeah, it was a problem, and without getting too deep into how the actual system works, they had me like reconfiguring things and going this way and then going that way as they tried to figure it out. And that's what I was doing while listening to YouTube videos and whatever the hell else it is that I do. I do weird things. I'm talking on the phone, listening to YouTube videos. What we were talking about, I was talking to a friend about this particular show, and I was telling him the problems that I have with how much good material there is for me to do. I'm like, every day I'm doing basically like stupid nothing. But I've got all this stuff. It's just a matter of like, it's almost overwhelming and putting it all together. And I don't really know. For me, it's like, it's strange. How to explain this? Like for me, my life is my life, right? And so, just like anyone else, certain things don't stand out as items of interest that people would want to know about. And I'll give you an example. When I was in Coleman, Florida, federal prison, I used to spend some time, a couple evenings, with a man by the name of Lou Pearlman. And I had some particularly strong opinions about this particular guy. And I never thought about him again. I've only hung out with him, I don't know, maybe like 5 or 6 times, right? I kind of knew about his history, but he didn't really mean anything to me. Well, tonight I'm on YouTube, floating around, and I find a YouTube original, and it says The Lou Pearlman Story from YouTube. So it's like produced by like YouTube's production company. And I'm like, oh, Lou Pearlman, I know him. So I click on it, and I believe he died. I remember hearing that from somebody when I was locked up later on. But so I click on it, and there's Lance Bass from NSYNC, and some of the guys from NSYNC, some of the guys from the Backstreet Boys, and they're talking all about Lou Pearlman and how he put together NSYNC and the Backstreet Boys and yada yada yada, and how he was like a con man at the end of the day. And I was like listening to their stories, and I'm going, Jesus, this is exactly the way I would describe him from how I knew him in prison. And so I looked on YouTube, and I'm like, well, there's nobody who said anything about Lou Pearlman in prison. Now, this is I've got a good story about Lou Pearlman in prison. And I was like, come to think about it, there's only maybe 5 people in the world who know this story. One of them was the guy I was talking to on the phone. And another one of the 5 I also talked to on the phone. So of the 5 people that would know this story, I talked to 3 of them, one of them being myself. And of course I talk to myself all the time, like right now. But so I'm looking through this, I'm like, wow, how about that? So I could like easily get the 3 of the 5 people like on video talking about the Lou Pearlman story about while he was in prison. There's 2 more, and of course I know both of them too, and if I really felt like it, I could dig them up. And only one of them really even matters. And the one that I'm talking about that matters, you can go to freecasey.com and look at my photo gallery, and there's a photo of me and him. So, in other words, I've got photos to illustrate the story that I would be telling. And I think it's an interesting story, but it never occurred to me that that would be a story that anyone would give a damn about. I mean, it didn't even register in my mind until I saw the YouTube thing and Lou Pearlman. I was like, oh. So, you know, it gets me thinking, these come into the Casey prison stories that I should be talking about, and you just never know. There's so many of them, and I guess I just do them as they come into my mind, and eventually we will get them all done, right? So, so yes, anyways, 12:14 now, driving home still. I think I'm going to go ahead and transport you guys to tomorrow morning, and we will be going to the grocery store. I probably won't film that, so you'll probably see me driving this exact same car in the exact same place, but in the opposite direction. Oh, and before I go, before we do the transportation, I did June 15th and 16th maybe? Or maybe it's 16th and 17th of Casey Do TV 2004 episodes today. My commentary on those real quick. They're online if you know how to find them. And if not, you can ask. They were interesting. You know, I really liked it was Europe again. So one of them was kind of like a boring show, like of us on the train. And I don't even understand why I filmed it. I guess I was waiting for something to happen. That was the second one. The first one, which I called, oh God, what did I call it? Was it Chicken Dance maybe? Or, yeah, it's probably called Chicken Dance. I'm feeling like Chicken Dance for some reason. Was really, really funny and very, very interesting. And a good video, I mean, where we did nothing, but it's kind of like Casey and Do at its best, you know? It was what I loved about the dynamic that Michael, Do Mom, and Do and myself had. I think it just really defines like what good friends we were and how great things were at the time before Justin Berry came into our lives and decided that he knew better what was for us than what we knew ourselves. But I digress. Tomorrow morning, boom! Okay, I lied. I want you guys to see this. It's only a minute later, so don't feel like I lied by too much. But yeah, I just thought you guys might enjoy that before I boom, tomorrow morning. Bam! We're on the other side of that little message right there. Several hours later, we got sad music on. You hear it? Oh, Sandy! Or Mandy. You gave without taking. Alright, so let's turn this down before we get a YouTube copyright violation. Good morning. It is Casey, and it is snowy outside, and the temperature says 10 degrees Fahrenheit. So it has warmed up a little bit. That is good news for us. Homeless people walking down the street, looking particularly homeless. We got a lot of those around here. I am going to the grocery store because I need food. Not much other option. So I busted out all the electronic everything. I've got my electronic vest on. I've got the heated steering wheel and the heated seat and the remote start on the car. So we're in pretty good shape. More homeless people. Actually, they're probably not homeless. They just appear that way. So my bitch of the morning, I like to say that I have complaints every single day, is Facebook again. Like, so I got on there as soon as I got up, and Facebook scares me away every single time. So I got on the Facebook, and I forget why I was getting on there. I was trying to do something. There was a legitimate purpose for it. And got bombarded. So, you know, it starts off normal, like, boop, 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 one or two little messages come up, and you're like, oh, hey, how are you? You know, and the messages are always like quite typically they start like, hello, handsome. That's like the number one, like, starting line or something to that effect. And you start talking to these people, and, you know, like I've said before, like, I honestly want to, like, say hi to some people and, you know, maybe make some new friends on this thing. But it, like, bombards you left and right with all these messages, and they start coming in, and then they start filling your screen, and they start, like, overfilling the thing that you're trying to do, which I can't even remember what the hell it was in my case. That's how bad it is. And, you know, so I tried to talk to, like, maybe 5 people, because that's a good number that I can maintain a conversation with. And as soon as it gets started, you're like, it starts coming more and more and more, and there's no, like, I don't know, I've got to dig around it, maybe look at the settings or whatever, because it appears to me there's just no real way to tell it to, like, stop popping up windows on top of windows. And in this case, I don't even have Messenger anymore, because Messenger is like the devil. But what I do have is Facebook's website. So that's where I'm getting bombarded at. I go onto the website, I wanted to check something, and so I went and looked at, like, the membership rules and stuff, and it was like, you know, what did it say? How did it say it? It said, oh, you can only add people you know as friends, blah, 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 and they limited to 5,000 people. And I'm like, well, there's the biggest load of fucking bullshit in the world. That's one of those situations where, actually, I'm too close to this guy's car. Let me back up and try this again, because it's a nice tight parking spot, but we don't know that the person on the other end of this transaction will be able to handle it. So, yeah, blah, blah, blah. You can't add people that you don't know in real life. And I'm like, well, that's the biggest load of bullshit that I've ever heard in my life, because we all know that's not how social media works. And also, what's the difference between people that you know in real life and people that you don't know in real life? Like, that's one hell of a narrow fucking window, in my opinion, because that's just not how the world works now. Example being, Jew, did not know him in real life initially. Belinda did not know him in real life, or her in real life initially. Like, so 2 of the most major people in my life, I did not know initially. What? I need some of this stuff. This guy's robbing the water department. 5 for $10. So that's my bitching of the morning. Is how in the world are they going to tell you who you should and should not know, and then flood you with messages? Because it's also not realistic. I haven't added anybody yet. I've got like 1,400 friends or something like that, that all came from mostly people I don't know. So yeah, my Facebook bitch of the morning. Let me go shopping. Stop talking to you guys. You're distracting me. All my frozen food to go to work to make life easy. One of the biggest problems with shopping in a town like this is actually that it's always crowded, believe it or not. You come in here and there's people everywhere because it's one of the only grocery stores in long distance. Blueberry pomegranate. I gotta get some of my drinks. See what I'm talking about? Bright and early in the morning. Yet there's people everywhere. Let's get out of here. Okay, I'm in the car. I was right about this truck too, that I was too close to them, and it's some ladies. that do not have the ability to fit into tight spaces, which was exactly what I thought would happen. Even though I pulled out and gave them a whole bunch of space, they still had to move their car in order to be able to get inside of it. That's what happens when you drive these massive pickup trucks that don't fit anywhere. Is that any of you? Groceries in the back. Can we see them? Yeah. So almost entirely frozen food, $100 spent. I'll tell you what, I'm not as good at doing cheap grocery store as I am at doing cheap fast food. Because especially right now, like, my whole goal is to be quick with food, like the ability to grab it and go, which means, you know, a lot of frozen food. Because the reality is, I wake up in the morning and sometimes I don't have 15 minutes to get going. You know, you wake up, like last night I worked 14 hours on the clock, and so I went home and we're there now and got up. And when I woke up, it's just like complete exhaustion. Body's like, oh no, you ain't getting up. What the hell are you thinking? And I have to tell the body, like, yes, I know. It might sound like a good idea to keep sleeping, but we have to get up because otherwise we're not going to have food. And if we don't have food, actually, and starting today, that's how bad the food situation was. I was breaking into my reserves earlier, but we are today supposed to be going to get carry out at work, but you can't ever trust that because these guys like to tell me, oh yeah, we'll go get carry out, and I told you I can't get it because I don't have a snowmobile, so I've got to have one of them go get it. And then they'll go get busy, or they'll be like, oh no, I don't want to do that, I've got my avocados here. This woman right here. There's a lot of people, I think I've said this before, but it is very nice that you want to let people go. But the reason why we have right-of-way rules, when you're in that type of a situation, I'm not talking about like a pedestrian crossing the street or something, but when you're facing somebody at a stoplight or a stop sign or something like that, the reason why we have these rules is because then everybody knows what they're doing and we can all move faster. So if you have the right-of-way, take it. That's my only thing. So this woman right here was going straight and we were going left, and we're all waiting on her, and she's just sitting there like, oh, let these guys go first. Yeah, but we're not ready for it. Okay, this guy's going left, see? This guy's doing it right. So everything works out when you just follow the rules. Go figure, right? Casey's saying that. All right, guys, I'm going to go to work in a little bit here. I'll take you with me. Maybe we'll find something to talk about. Sorry for all these car scenes. But I took you to the grocery store today. That was a little bit different. I'd really like to get set up with the green screen and tell you some of these stories about all the different prison stuff, but I'm afraid I just don't have the time right now. I guess I could maybe tell them in the car scene, but yeah. I've got to edit the video, and I can't edit the video at work either, so it just kind of makes it difficult. We'll figure it out, though. We'll get it all done. Fear not. Casey is on it. Well, I apologize in advance for taking so long to get back with you guys, but I was eating a delicious donut. See that? My donut collection in the back. I need to not eat them all and instead give them to the guys at work, but they are delicious. I had a Boston cream with a cherry on the top, which is like the best of everything, so can't argue with that. So now we are out. We are on our way to work. We're in this cute, quaint little town here. You see it all behind me in the mirrors. Driving through, taking a little bit of a different route today. Lots of stuff, very picturesque here though. So, what has happened since nothing's happened actually? I feel like there should be a bunch of stuff going on and there just isn't. We're going to work, we're going to make some snow. It's freaking cold outside, so that's a good thing for the snow making. It's also a good thing for my paycheck, which, you know, I've been wanting to get a good solid 2 weeks worth of pay in. without any interruptions, because they always want to wait till like 2 days before the end of the pay period and then like let us off or something like that. And I'm always like, damn it, can't we just get one check that's big? I might very well get it this time around, because so far I've not had a day off this pay period. And today's Saturday, which makes it the end of the first week. So 7 solid days in this pay period, and it's cold, at least through next Friday, which means we're not going to get off, which means that we have a good opportunity to get a good paycheck. So yes, continuing to experiment with ideas for Casey and Max TV. I keep seeing all this interesting stuff, and I know that if we had a little bit of money, we could do a lot of fun stuff, or even just knew some people. These are two problems that I lack right now, is a budget for the show. Well, not like a decent budget. We've got some money to do stuff with. A decent budget to do some of these shows, which are some of my ideas, or people to help us out with them. Because like one thing I watched, I'll tell you right now, go on to YouTube. Hopefully you're already on YouTube, but you might be on Facebook, because I'm thinking about doing a dual format and putting this on Facebook as well. But YouTube is going to be our primary. So actually, really, cmax.live is our primary. cmax.live. So cmax.live is the primary website, which will always direct you, because you never know when these fuckers, that's the problem with those formats like Facebook and stuff like that, they could terminate us. It's not only possible, it's likely. Never trust a big corporate entity with what you're doing. So CMAX Live is the place that you can go to get the show controlled by us, not controlled by someone else. But assuming that you're on YouTube, click on the search bar and put in Sex Offender Shuffle. Hilarious video that this guy did. And one thing I've noticed is that he hasn't done anything since then, and no one else has done anything like based off of it, like, you know, kind of a fun ha-ha hee-hee sort of thing. Well, I would love to do a parody of the parody, if you will. I'd love to do my own version of it. And I was looking at it, I'm like, oh man, I've got such great ideas for how to do like a modernized version of this. The problem is that there's no, they have like 12 people in this thing, and I don't know 12 people up here. So I'm like, now I know more than 12 actual real sex offenders who would do it. But I don't have ready access to them up here. So they're thinking like, how could I do it? Like, part of the thing that made that particular video so funny as you watch it is that they're all in one room. Like, the police gathered them up and made them do it. And that's the thing, like, so of course I could have everyone do it individually and we could put it together in clips, but that's not as fun as like the idea that the police have, you know, especially making fun of Florida. You know, the pun on Florida, because Florida is the #1 state for doing things like that, where they force sex offenders to do all these weird ass things. And yeah, so I would enjoy that opportunity to do something like that. But yeah, I'd have to find enough people willing to do it. And I could get people up here, but to get that many people up here at one time, or I don't know, you know, it's a lot of thought process will have to go into how to do this. But these are ideas that are popping through my head on a daily basis, and I'm like, man, I need to do something, some of these. We obviously did the dream video, so I think every time Max is in town, we'll work on at least one little special video project. You know, something that's goofy and funny and makes people laugh, especially if you know me. And, you know, to keep it interesting besides just the daily video blog things. But on that note, off to work I go. We see that view? You guys can kind of see it. So, how many people walk to work with a thing of donuts in this sort of a beautiful setting here? I decided it's a little bit less cold today. What did I say it was? 10 on the way in, so it's probably somewhere in the low single digits here. And after yesterday, and most importantly, the wind's done. So after yesterday, that is a very welcome change. So it's Columbus Day weekend here, which makes it, apparently is a big ski weekend. I guess the kids have off school on Monday, and you know, obviously it's in the middle of the winter, so all of the lots are full moving up here, but of course we have VIP parking, so had to go through all the security checkpoints though to get to the parking lot. And then you get here, look at that mountain. You guys, can you see that? I forget what mountain that is, but anyways, so I had to go through all that to get there. Then I had to go to the ATM machine. There is an ATM machine. Before I get hit with some skiers. This is a high-speed slope. Pretty cool, huh? Yeah, that's my view going to work. Anyways, I went to the main lift that I normally ride, and there's two of them right next to each other, two quads. So I look at it and I'm just like, oh my gosh, even though I gotta skip the line, there's such a sea of people there and such confusion going on that I'm like, I don't even know if I want to fight my way up to the front to get on. So I walked up the hill a little bit to another lift. It's the one that me and Max like to ride, and jumped on it, and it took me straight to the straight to the middle of the mountain. I had to walk now to my office, but I knew the lift operator on that one, so a little bit easier, and the line was only like 30 or 40 people long. So I just walked up to the front, he got me on, and now we are walking the rest of the way. So that's the update for now. All right, see if we can get this thing to focus. It's not wanting to focus. Come on, thing, focus. There we go. So, just wanted to show you guys the view again. Freaking awesome, huh? Right there in the center is the pond that feeds me. And then boom. All the way up the hill to the top of the mountain. So yes, very beautiful today. And very picturesque. Boom. There's the pond. I'm at work, guys, and dead silence. I don't know if you hear this. I'm the only one here. It's just past noon right now, so it wasn't silent a moment ago. What has happened is that, and by the way, it's not Columbus Day. It's Martin Luther King Day. I don't know why I messed that up. But what's happened is... Okay, sorry about that. So now, as I was saying, there's a rush to go around before everything freezes up. Nobody's here yet at work except for me and the supervisor, so he's doing everything. I'm running everything here. I'm going to be a little bit busy for a while, so I'm going to let you guys go, but I just wanted to give you that update. Looks like it's going to be a pretty dramatic day here at work. Man, I don't know what's going on with this thing. It doesn't want to record. What's happening is that there's so many people in town and so many people skiing and all the lifts are going, and there's so much power drain on the entire city that we've run out of power. So we were running one pump just to stay online, and of course it's really, really cold outside too. So that water is going to freeze if it's not moving around the circle. So we've now had to turn off the one pump that was left on because we just ran out of power. There's no more power left for the entire town, and we get the power last. So we turned it off, and now they're going switching for things. All right, still shut down. So what am I doing, you ask? I am watching a movie called Long Shot on Xfinity, and there's a bunch of skiers behind me doing whatever skiers do. See, there they go. So it looks like they're probably going to send me home, is the rumor. Everyone else came up here, and now they're out doing stuff. And if the top of the mountain isn't running, there isn't anything for me to do. So I don't know why I'm still here right now, but that means they're undecided. So we'll see what ends up happening. I'll let you know. Still sitting, still waiting. Well, still watching my movie. What an interesting job I got. Let's go see what's going on in California.
Hey everyone, it is Saturday morning, bright and early. Actually not that early, it's about 10 o'clock, but I am just getting out of the house, get a little exercise, enjoy this beautiful weather. It is freezing here. It's about 40 degrees and the wind is going. The Weather Channel says that the wind chill makes it absolutely cold as fuck, which I happen to agree with them. I think that's actually a scientific measurement now. Anyways, hope everybody's Saturday is going great. Mine's going quite well. My new work actually has me on a Sunday through Thursday schedule, but Sundays are half days and it's a pretty light workload. We're basically just moving product around to prepare for the week. So it gives me a little bit of extra R&R time there on Sunday afternoons. Really 2.5 days off every week is not bad. And it's salaried with basically unlimited PTO within reason. So I think we're in a good spot. Hope everybody is having a great weekend. Weekends are very important. I encourage you all to relax and get away from whatever it is you do during the week, because otherwise you'll just go crazy. Trust me, I know, I've been there. My last job had me working every day and it was nuts and I just couldn't disconnect. So with this current job, I turn the phone off and then they'll get to me when they get to me. There's other ways to reach me if it's truly an emergency, but there's also 4 of us on the management team and we can spread the workload. You know, it's not one thing that I'm learning the hard way is that it's not necessary to do everything myself. With that being said, I am going to continue my walk so that I don't freeze to death. Hope everybody enjoys the rest of their weekend. Please take some time off, relax, enjoy time with family, with friends, with your dog, with your cat, with your pet chupacabra, whatever it may be, and get ready. Life keeps coming. Have a great one. Bye-bye.
All right, so I am down at the base of the mountain now and trying to figure out what I'm going to do. Right, I'm done for the evening. I could either go this way, and looking at that, I just decided, shoot, there's all these cars out of there. So the options were, I was trying to get something to eat before I drive home, and well, yeah, that sucker's pretty damn busy down there. Let's stand and take a look. Well, hell, let's go down there and take a look. I was trying to get some food from the center here, but that didn't work because I'd missed them by 5 minutes on them closing up, which is just lame. I mean, you're on a holiday weekend, you're a ski resort, there was still a good 50 people sitting down in there eating, and you guys are counting the money and going home. Like, why in the world would you do something like that? So I'm off a little bit early because of the power problem. Everybody else is staying, but since I never get the chance to have some time off, they gave me a couple hours off to go do what I do. Now the big question is, could I get in here and find a seat at the bar, or is this sucker too full? Because I don't want to be here for hours either. It looks very crowded. People standing everywhere. Yeah, I'm not going to do it. So that answers that question for me. So now it's time to get in the car, drive on back home, and I guess cook something in the damn microwave. So it's sad, but it's true. But I mean, it's just as sad as eating in a restaurant by yourself. So, which is why I was trying to avoid that. I was trying to go to the bar right here in the base, because it's a much bigger place than that place. And I figured if I went there, I might be able to, look at that. Boom. I might be able to, you know, just get up to the bar, have a little quesadilla or something real quick, and then hit the road and drive home. But it's not going to work out that way, is what we have learned. So that's it. I guess good night. Okay, this might have been a trick, guys. Let me see here. What direction is the camera facing? There it is. Take a look at that. So there is a full-blown winter snowstorm on the way, active, and we are on the roads covered in snow on Martin Luther King holiday with all of these tourists in town. Every single one of these cars has license plates that are not from Vermont. So in other words, you see how the driving's going to be. Actually, this guy just took off, so maybe we got some luck. All right, that's it. Good night. Good night. Good night. I'm gone. Goodbye. Okay, so this is really kind of a nightmare situation for me. There we go. We're going 27 in a 50, which is what I was just worrying about, which is why I just lied. I didn't let you guys go back to bed. Now, I've got the good car. That's the one good thing. This is like fully off-road car. But for us here, and I'm an official Vermonter now, this is not a very big storm. This is a dusting of snow. That's sticking a little bit, but there's not really much going on there on the ground, right? And it's cold, so you got that, but so it's a little bit blurry, as you can tell. But yeah, this is not a major ordeal. You can still go pretty decent at this speed. Look at this. There's a big tractor trailer freaking trying to pass on the right hand side, which is just crazy. Look at this. I should film this in case he hits somebody, because it looks like he's about to. He's gonna hit me. It's one of the persons he's gonna hit. That is fucking crazy. Right lane ends. Think I didn't think about that, buddy? It's just fucking, and I'm not doing that in a fucking car transporter. I feel his frustration, but part of the issue is I'm gonna back off of him because he's a little bit crazy anyways. He might run somebody off the road. Part of the issue is that there's a guy in front of him and a guy in front of him, and they're all going this slow. One of them just turned off, and there's another one behind him that's going the same speed. You think I want to go 30 miles an hour? I guarantee you that we're braking. This is my biggest pet peeve. Okay, I'm gonna not talk to you guys the whole time about how frustrating this is. But yeah, this was a trick because it's gonna take me an hour to get home at this speed and in these conditions. And if I was going at midnight, there's a good possibility there wouldn't have been anyone on the road. But at 6:30, all these people that are coming to town to go skiing or whatever else they're doing, or even these trucks like that one, are still out and about, passing on the right-hand lane in a snowstorm, you know. So, and he's not going to get anywhere. I promise you, I'll get there just as quickly as he will. Can't see any of the dividing lines on the road. That is one of the issues about this. But so anyways, yeah, let me see. There's got to be something interesting to talk to you guys about, right? I was supposed to go tonight, and I was supposed to have a dinner party at work. It's part of my plan. Have them go pick up food at that place that we just walked down to, and drive it up. I think I mentioned that earlier. That didn't happen, so I was going to go there. But I mean, going there's a little bit like, unless you're with somebody, you know? Like, who wants to go? I would have been frustrated. I would have been sitting in there being bitchy if I was waiting for a long time and completely by myself. Now, Max goes out to eat by himself all the time. There's a Max fact that you may or may not know. Actually, you won't know because he doesn't. There's 2 updates in this video from him, one from yesterday, one from today. And I applaud him because I'm not even bugging him to do these updates. He's doing them on his own. We still have to work on how to do the updates though, because it's not a minute and a half just talking to you guys about, hey, how was your day? I hope you're all good. It's more of a journey, either through your mind or through your day. So that's at least the style that we do here at Casey and Max TV. So he's new. We're going to keep working with him on it. So far, like, thinking back of everyone that I've ever co-starred. Well, no, that's not true. I was gonna say, Dew never did updates on his own. Like, on the days that I didn't bust out the camera, okay, there's one episode of Casey and Dew TV that was filmed entirely by Dew that I had nothing to do with. It was early on. It was in March of 04, if you want to go dig for it. It's like 6 minutes long, so he didn't do very much. We're down to 25 now, by the way. So, I could go 50 in these conditions, so that's why it's a little frustrating. But there's one episode of Casey and Dew TV that Dew did by himself. But otherwise, Dew never did that. But Kyle, when I had Casey and Kyle's condo, Kyle did do a lot of updates on his own. He was constantly working on the website. But, you know, turning around in Dew's defense, I was the videographer. He was the graphics guy and the web guy. If you watch the episodes, you'll see over and over again him talking about how he's doing the website, and he's asking me what colors. Actually, that was today's episode, which was the June the 18th, 2004. He was asking about, or he was bitching that I always say blue and purple. And it's funny because I still say blue and purple. So I didn't remember that conversation, obviously, but I heard it and I was like, yeah, I still say blue and purple. So he was doing the website in different colors. He would always build the websites. He built freecasey.com after I got arrested. So he not calling Dew a do nothing. Cute. Pun intended, right? It's just that he didn't do videos on his own. And it's unfortunate because, like, he could have kept Casey and Dew TV going, at least for a little while, had he been willing to film. But that was just not his thing, so it is what it is. You know, there's nothing that can really be done about it. So the fact that Max is making an effort is a very good sign. I would love to get into a situation where I didn't have to do all the videos. I mean, I'm still going to, you know me, but it would be great that, especially if something happened to me, that the show must go on. The show is the most important thing. Could you think of where Casey and Dew TV would be today if the show had continued? I mean, that's something. Like, we would be YouTube's greatest star rather than trying to start off from scratch here with all these other people, because we would have been the first. So, since we predated YouTube, at least as far as Casey and Dew TV predated YouTube by 2 years. And if you switch over to some of my other projects, I predated YouTube by like a decade. So, but I just count it from Casey and Dew TV stage, because all the other sites had the adult content on it. So I would consider them, even though they had the reality stuff too, I would say they leaned heavier. Well, they didn't lean heavier adult, but they were adult. So, you know, adult is its own genre, completely different than Jesus Christ, people. We're never going to make it. Literally, I could almost walk quicker. We're still slowing down. I'm trying not to hit the brakes, so I'm trying not to get on these guys' ass, but, like, it's hard because they keep hitting the brakes. And I bitched about that over and over and over again to you guys, that when you're driving in snow, the brake is the number one way. There we go. Oh, Jesus, I'm like solid on the brake. The number one way to have an accident is to use the brake. Even in pretty bad snow like this, if you're going, if you keep your foot off the brake, you'll be fine. You'll just go through it. You can go 50 miles an hour through it and you'll be fine. You can't stop. That's what snow does. It stops you from stopping. So stop trying to stop unnecessarily. It should be common sense, one would think. God, they're going so slow. You should see how many cars are behind me, too. Like, there's this huge line. We're all waiting on this one guy. If I had the opportunity, I would just take off around him. But So let's talk more about the Casey Do TV episode that I did today. It was June 18th, 2004. These are the episodes from Europe, and I didn't realize how much I like the episodes from Europe, but I really do. Especially when Belinda is there, because she is like, I don't know, a breath of fresh air for the show. I never really realized this before, but me and her have had a great dynamic, like shooting back and forth with each other. That me and Do had a great dynamic too, and obviously it's, Casey and Do. Can't discredit that, but I'm just saying that, I guess, okay, here's the right way to put it. Me and Do had a better dynamic, but Do's wasn't always on. Sometimes he was just, whereas when you're dealing with Belinda, at least every time the camera comes out, and me and her are both like on. So when you're watching the show episodes with her in it, me and her are like zing, 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 zing. And really, this is part of the crazy thing about Do and his mom, is that when I met them, I guess the right way to put it is that I was like equally friends with both of them. Well, initially I was probably more friends with Belinda, but over time that changed, and became more friends with Do. But they both are so similar in personality at the end of the day, although there are some key and critical distinctions between the two of them, which we won't get into. But the basic personality, and there's so many similarities between the two of them that just played so well off of me that I got along so great with both of them. And I'm right dead smack in the middle of their age. Like, I'm a little bit closer to Do's age than I am to Belinda's age, but for the most part, I'm dead smack in the middle. And so I could go either direction in terms of like hanging out, and I kind of also bridge the gap between the two of them. Although obviously they were always really good friends, on top of being like mother son. So yeah, it allowed. I don't think I've ever met anyone since though that I clicked with as well as them. Max and me click pretty well too, obviously. You've seen some of the episodes and stuff, but I think it's going to take Max moving out here and being here around the clock for us to get the same magic that we had in the prison, like 100% back. It's on when the show, like, there's a couple of good episodes, but it's gonna take two things. One, it's gonna take him getting used to the camera, because he feels like he doesn't want to look like a doofus in front of the internet, which reminds me a lot of Do, who also was always worried about what people think. And lucky for me in life, like, I don't care what people think. I just don't. I don't know why so many people obsess with that, but I mean, I guess I do on like a very basic level, but only if it's something that I myself also agree with, is probably the best way to put it. So like, if I look at something and I'm like, this is the ugliest outfit in the world, and I go out and somebody else is like, this is the ugliest outfit in the world, I care what they think. But like, if I love it and you think it's ugly, too bad for you, I just don't care. Or like, if you think that, like, I don't know, any number of reasons, and I guess that's just growing up gay in the 90s and stuff, like, you get an immunity to that thing. It's the same thing with the sex offender label, to be honest with you guys. Like, when I go in there with all the other guys, they're always worried about the felony and the label and so on and so forth, and it's a fucking challenge, don't get me wrong. Maybe I'll go on and on about that someday. But generally speaking, keyword being generally speaking, I could give a shit less about that too. Like, you know what? You don't want to fucking talk to me? Don't fucking talk to me. That's all I gotta say to you. There are few people in this world that I care about enough to care if you talk to me or not. And of all of those people, there's only two of them that are currently not talking to me that I care about, that I'd like to talk to me. Everybody else pretty much talks to me. And actually, I can't think of anyone except for these two that don't talk to me, or I just don't care. That's why I can't think about it, because if for some reason you decided you weren't going to talk to me because of that, I'm like, you know, see ya, Felicia. What is that? Bye, Felicia. That's the word. That's the saying. Don't let the door hit you on the way out, right? You know, I'm not like spending a great deal of time worrying about you or what you have to say. So that is not the case when it comes to Max, and that was not the case when it came to Do. And that may have a lot to do with the direction Do went in. And we'll see how Max does with it over time, because with Max, he's getting better, you know, but he always, you know, I didn't even think about that part, but he cared so much about what people thought about him in prison and stuff too. And yeah, I don't know how to put it other than I don't care. All I gotta say is that they don't really care about us, right? So, especially in prison. Let me tell you, that's one place where I didn't give a rat's ass about what anyone thought about me. I mean, there's a little bit of reputation management just for your own safety. Obviously, we'll go over that in the prison videos, but so I mean, I'm not going to say I didn't give a rat's ass, but I did not care to have these people in there like me. You know, I also considered it one of these things that, like, if prison was like, if I was just fitting in super great with everyone in prison, and everyone was loving me, that was probably a bad sign. So, but I did get along with everybody in prison. I get along with people everywhere I go. I rarely ever have trouble, although I will tell you stories in the Casey stories. I got jumped once. I've gotten punched a handful of times. Handful of assault, sexual assault. Jesus, the list goes on. That's what, like, I don't know, maybe we should do that tonight. We got a little bit of time on our hands. Maybe when I get home, I'll do I probably won't. Don't hold your breath. But I do need to do Casey prison stories at some point in time. I need to start boiling them out. And we're still going 30 miles an hour in case you're interested. So, yes, I don't care. Other people do care, and when you care, it makes doing this show difficult. I could tell you right now, just look at the comments under this video. Comment as you like, please. People are going to make stupid ass comments. That is what people do. There are going to be haters out there. There is going to be people that are like creeps. There are going to be people that are freaking weirdos. And people in general have a huge sensitivity to this. And I do not. I mean, you can say anything you want about me in the comments, and I just don't care. I ran a website, for those of you who are just, you know, getting to know me, while I was in prison, called freecasey.com. All right? I had a lot of websites over the years, and I've been continuously on the net because we've had Free Casey while I was in prison. So I'm continuously on the net since 1999, guys. How many people can say that? And I'm not talking about like a surfing the internet. I'm talking about, like, I've had my own .com that chronicled my life in some way, shape, or form continuously, including during a 15-year prison bit since 1999. And where was I going with that? Freecasey.com. I ran a website. That's what I was saying. Whoa, we got a phone call, and it's Max. I wonder if I can accept the call and keep filming. I doubt it. Let's try it. Are we still here? All right. So we're in town now. That was Max. This is so weird. I'm still trying to figure everything out. So, like, I don't normally come back this time of night. So some of the lights are flashing. They're normally all flashing red at night, and some of them are flashing and others are not. Anyways, I have no clue what we were talking about before, so all I'm going to say is that probably something about Max and filming. That's kind of what I remember, but that might not have been what we were on at that exact moment, about caring about what people think. So yeah, if that was what they were talking about, the point is that we'll have to work them off of that, and get our groove back. I think we were talking about that a little bit too, because we had a great dynamic at Beaumont, Texas Federal Prison, and we have it still when he's here, but the long distance thing makes it kind of like, you know, so he needs to like move into town, which he will do soon enough. Well, not soon enough, but soon. So the year will not end without him living here. Call it that much. And we'll see how that goes. It's going to be a lot easier cost-wise too for us once he lives here. He's probably waiting because he's delaying. You know, technically there's all these like reasons why he supposedly isn't coming yet, but I know what the real reason is, and the real reason is because he probably wants to wait until the house is finished so that he can be a princess and live in style. Knowing him. All right, well, here's downtown. Let's take a look. The roads are nice and icy. That's not going to help. So are my wiper blades. You're supposed to put them up when you park, and I didn't do it, so they're all covered in ice. And that's the reason why you do it. So anyways, good night, so long, farewell. Tomorrow morning we are going to get up early, and the reason for getting up early is going to be so that we can go skiing. And I'm going to try to make it to the south face of the mountain because I want to go to the barbecue place that is over there, and it's like a barbecue place on the slopes. So I want to go check that out. And I know they'll be open Columbus. I keep trying to call it Columbus Day, which is I think October. Martin Luther King weekend. Oh, and by the way, for those of you who are not in the know, Martin Luther King weekend is also Du's birthday. So happy, God, I'm gonna have to do the math. Let me see here. Du would be, this is actually easy math. Happy 28th birthday to Du. 28th birthday. That is how old Du is. Well, certainly by the time you guys see this, but this weekend. So his birthday is tomorrow, actually, Sunday. So that is something to keep in mind. Anyone that might talk to him, I don't think anyone talks to him though. It's from this group. So, but yes, happy birthday, Du. Wish you were here. You know, and we would throw a lavish and entertaining birthday party for you, like we always do. I would. Your mom filled a balloon, a room full of balloons, for your 13th birthday, which was the last one that I was there for 15 years ago. So for your 28th birthday, what will we do? Fill a convention hall with balloons? You know, I don't know. Something with balloons. We'd have to do something like that. But yeah, I would definitely do something big for his birthday if he was here. But sadly he is not, and maybe one day that would change. It would be fun. Come check us out, hang out, come up for the weekend. Everyone would love to see you. That I know for sure. So good night, everybody.